ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुर्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारणं परमानन्दमाधवम् परमानन्दमाधवम्। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। 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 I beg all these assembled Vaishnavas to bless me so that I can only speak appropriate things as given by the Guru Parampara. We will cover today 25th and 26th of Chapter 2, Canto 1. Bejire munyotagre Bhagavatam adokshajam Sattvam vishuddham kshemaya Kalpante yonutan hiha Bejire munayotagre Bhagavatam adokshajam Sattvam vishuddham kshemaya Kalpante yonutaniha. Prabhu's Bejire munayotagre Bhagavatam adokshajam
Sattvam Vishuddham Kshemaya Sattvam Vishuddham Kshemaya Kalpayante Mutanjiha Kalpante Mutaniha Vejire Munayotagre Vejire Munayotagre Bhagavantam Adokshajam Sattvam Visuddham Kshemaya Sattvam Visuddham Kshemaya Kalpante Mutaniha Kalpante Mutaniha
Vejire Munayotagre
Vejire Munayotagre
Bhagavantam Adhokshajam
Bhagavantam Adokshajam
Sattvam Vishuddham Kshemaya
Sattvam Vishuddham Kshemaya
Kalpante Nutaniha
Kalpante Mutaniha
Vejire Munayotagre
Vejire Munayotagre
Bhagavantam Adhokshajam
Bhagavantam Adokshajam
Sattvam Vishuddham Kshemaya
Sattvam Vishuddham Kshemaya
Kalpante Nutaniha
Kalpante Mutaniha
Vejire render service unto.
Render service unto
Munayaha, the sages.
Munayaha, the sages.
Ataha, thus
Atathas
agreed previously.
agreed previously.
Bhagavantam,
Bhagavantam
unto the personality of Godhead.
unto the personality of Godhead.
Adhokshajam,
Adokshajam
the transcendence.
the transcendence.
Sattvam,
Sattvam
existence.
existence.
Vishuddham,
Vishuddham
above three modes of nature.
above three modes of nature.
Kshemaya,
Kshemaya
to derive the ultimate benefit.
to derive the ultimate benefit.
Kalpante,
Kalpante
deserve.
deserve.
Ye, those. Anu, follow. Tan, those. Iha, in this material world. Translation. Previously, all the great sages rendered service unto the personality of Godhead due to his existence above the three modes of material nature. They worshipped him to become free from material conditions and thus derive the ultimate benefit. Whoever follows such great authorities is also eligible for liberation from the material world. Let me repeat once again. Previously, all the great sages rendered service unto the personality of Godhead due to his existence above the three modes of material nature. They worshipped him to become free from material conditions and thus derive the ultimate benefit. Whoever follows such great authorities is also eligible for liberation from the material world. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The purpose of performing religion is neither to profit by material gain nor to get simple knowledge of discerning matter from spirit. The ultimate aim of religious performances is to release oneself from material bondage and regain the life of freedom in transcendental world, where the personality of Godhead is Supreme Person. Laws of religion, therefore, are directly enacted by the personality of Godhead. and except for the Mahajan are authorized agents of the law. No one knows the purpose of religion. There are 12 particular agents of the law who knows the purpose of the religion, and all of them render transcendental service unto him. Persons who desire their own good may follow these Mahajanas and thus attain the supreme benefit. I think I'm mistaken. This was covered yesterday.
No.
Huh?
No, it wasn't.
It was? Okay. Okay. So, in continuation of one, so briefly. So 25th minute. So in these couple of shlokas, the emphasis was given the three modes of nature and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So in this particular shloka, there is a direct shloka in the Bhagavad Gita also, where the Lord is saying, you have to raise beyond these three modes of nature. Do you remember what is the shloka? Traivanya Vishaya Vedha Nistrairunyo Bhavajna Nidvando Nitya Sattvasto Niryoga Kshema Atmama. This is one of my favorite shloka. See, in this material world, whatever the actions we perform, they are all subjected to these three modes of nature. Sometimes some people act differently. So the person who is in a particular mode of nature, the other person may act in a different mode. So he might be thinking why he is acting. So Bhagavad Gita says we are puppets in the hands of these material modes. So beyond sometimes our control also we act in that way. Predominantly because of that mode of nature. So in this shloka, the Lord is saying one should raise beyond. So often we think in the society going to the mode of goodness is the sattva guna is the ultimate. At least that is the thought I had before coming to the Srila Prabhupada teachings, or before properly understanding the Bhagavad Gita. So the Lord is saying even one should go beyond the mode of goodness, which is the transcendence, or which is the realization of the Supreme Lord. So that is this shloka. And then further also, the 26th also I want to cover. So the 26th translation goes as, those who are serious about liberation are certainly non-envious and they respect all. Yet they reject the horrible and ghastly forms of the demigods and worship only all blissful forms of Lord Vishnu and his plenary portions. Once again, those who are serious about liberation are certainly non-envious and they respect all. Yet they reject the horrible and ghastly forms of the demigods and worship only the all blissful forms of the Lord Vishnu and plenary portions. Purport by Srila Prabhu. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, who is the original person of the Vishnu categories, expands himself in two different categories, namely integrated plenary portions and separated parts and parcels. The separated parts and parcels are the servitors, and the integrated plenary portions of the Vishnu Tattva are worshipable objects of service. All demigods who are empowered by Supreme Lord are also separated parts and parcels. They do not belong to the categories of Vishnu Tattva. The Vishnu Tattva are living beings equally as powerful as the original form of the personality of Godhead, and they display different categories of the power in consideration of different times and circumstances. The separated parts and parcels are powerful by limitation. They do not have unlimited power like Vishnu Tattvas. Therefore, one should never classify the Vishnu Tattvas are plenary portions of Narayana. Therefore, one should never classify the Vishnu Tattvas are plenary portions of Narayana, the personality of God, in the same category with the parts and parcels. If anyone does, so he becomes at once an offender by the name Pashandi. In the age of Kali, many foolish persons commit such unlawful offences and equalize the two categories. The separated parts and parcels have different positions in the estimation of material powers, and some of them are like Kala Bhairava, Smashana Bhairava, Shani, Mahakali, and Chandika. These demigods are worshipped mostly by those who are in the lowest categories of the mode of darkness or ignorance. Other demigods like Brahma, Shiva, Surya, Ganesha, and many similar deities are worshipped by men in the mode of passion, urged on by the desire of material enjoyment. But those who are actually situated in the mode of goodness, Sattva Guna, of material nature, worship only Vishnu Tattva. Vishnu Tattvas are represented by various names and forms such as Narayana, Damodara, Vamana, Govinda, and Adhokshaja. The qualified Brahmanas worship the Vishnu Tattvas represented by Salakdan Sita, and some of the higher castes like Kshatriya and Vaishyas also generally worship the Vishnu Tattvas. Highly qualified Brahmanas situated in the mode of goodness have no grudges against the modes of worship of others. They have all respect for other demigods, even though they may look ghastly like Kala Bhairava or Mahakali. They know very well that these horrible features of the Supreme Lord are all different servitors of the Lord under different conditions. Yet they reject the worship of both horrible and attractive features of the demigods, and they concentrate only on the forms of Vishnu because they are serious about liberation from material conditions. The demigods, even to the stage of Brahma, the supreme of all the demigods, cannot offer liberation to anyone. Hiranyakashipu underwent a severe type of penance to become eternal in life, but his worshipful deity Brahma could not satisfy him with such blessings. Therefore, Vishnu and none else is called Muktipada, or personality of Godhead who can bestow upon us mukti, liberation. The demigods, being like other living entities in the material world, are all liquidated at the time of annihilation of the material structure. They are themselves unable to get liberation, and what to speak of giving liberation to their devotees. The demigods can award the worshippers some temporary benefit only, and not ultimate one. It is this reason only that candidates for liberation deliberately reject the worship of demigods, although they have no disrespect for any one of them. So, in this very beautiful lessons are here. The first one is non-enviousness. So, the devotees, in order for us to progress, we should be non-envious. So, I remember way back when I was growing in India, there used to be an ad, TV ad. The TV was Amida. Have you heard of this? So, yeah. So the ad used to be owner's pride, neighbor's envy. So in the society, it is encouraged something that you possess to make others, may not be purposely, but the target is we want to look better than others. It's always relative, in comparison with others, how. And especially, I'm not sure here, but at least in Indian society, we can see that the show off, lot of show off goes in the name of self putting to make themselves better, to show off. So that is something which is not recommended spiritually. Because in that process, what is happening? You are losing your true identity. When we, if we little bit go back and see what is the reason why we are here in this material world. We were enjoying in this spiritual world. But two reasons made us to come back here. What are those? Ichcha, Dvesha. Otherwise, we would have not come to the material world and not all these problems. As Bhagavad Gita says, the four problems are Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi. So those Ichcha, Dvesha is the very reason why we are here. So here, exactly he said that we need to get out of that. So that is something that, there's a beautiful story which help us to understand. There were two neighbors. These two neighbors, envious of each other. So they were poor. So one day, one neighbor decided to make a tapas for his worshipful deity Lakshmi Devi to get money all the year. So he went to forest and he started his tapas. And then the neighbor also learns about this, how he is doing. So he also starts, he also goes to the forest. So after several months of his tapas, the Lord Lakshmi Devi appears and asks, what do you want? So he says, I want a nice building and all the nice cars and everything. So she says, Tadhastu. And the other person also doing very nice. So Lakshmi Devi appears for him also. And he says, what do you want? You are doing so nice tapas, so what do you want? So this person says, whatever you offered the other person, twice of that I want. Tadastu. So it is multiple times, two buildings, many more cars. Then few months goes on, and the first person is, then he thought, okay, he has more than me, I need to get better. But now he realizes, whatever I am asking, he is asking twice. So let me teach him a lesson. So he goes to the forest and once again starts the prayers. And then Lakshmi Mata pleased with his son. And then he appears. And then he says, this time, ask for, I want one of my eyes to be taken. Task. Lakshmi Devi also thought, what is a weird request? But ultimately his interior motive is different. So the other person also is doing the tapas, right? Because, and then Lakshmi Devi when he appears, then what do you want? Then he says, whatever you gave him, twice of that. So this person uses two eyes. So here, like this, rather than asking for what you want, and you are asking something then more than the other person. So similarly, in this life, in this society, we don't need so much to live a happy life, even materially. But constantly, in the name of joy or in the name of comparing with others, we are back on this material chasing, ever ending. And as a process, nothing may not be wrong, but what we are doing, ultimately, our precious time is spent on chasing these material opulences. So, whatever we need to lead a happy life, that much we can ask and we can endeavor. So that is something we need to be, Bhagavatam is teaching that we should be overcoming that one. The second point is very emphasizing most of these slokas from past, at least from 21, whom we should be worshipping. This is something very much emphasizing in this one. So when I heard the Bhagavad Gita sloka, That was the first time, because before that, when you come across ISKCON, Hare Krishna people, they say that all the time you only worship Krishna, right? So people who doesn't have the exposure to the true Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam are bound to misunderstand. At that stage of their ignorance, that makes sense. Because they don't know beyond what they have learned in society. Not properly scripturally having the sound understanding. So I myself had that because of my upbringing. But when I come across Bhagavad Gita shloka, what is that? You remember? Antavattu palam tesham tadbhavatya alpamedasam devan devaya joyanti madbhakta yanti mamapi. So when I heard that shloka, then I realized these people are not saying something their own propaganda they have come up with their philosophy. In this shloka, the Lord is saying, Antavattu palam tesham tadbhavatya alpamedasam. He is saying the less intelligent people will worship the demigods. The less intelligent people. Beauty of this shloka is the Lord is not saying that don't worship. He is simply saying less intelligent people worship the demigods. And then he is saying Devan Deva Yajoyanti. Whoever worship them, they go to their abode. Madbhakta Yanti Mamapi. He is saying those who worship me will come to my abode. So the Lord is giving us a choice. Well, you want to be less intelligent in the sense you want to go to the demigods abode, well, you can worship. That's up to you. The choice is yours. So what is the problem in going back to the demigods abode? Of course, if that is your desire, so be it. But the problem with the going back to the demigods is you are once again in the material realm. What is the problem being in the material realm? Continuous birth and death cycle. And then continuous these eternal problems of Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi. So if that is what you want to undergo, keep on, then so be it. But a higher intelligent person doesn't want that because unknowingly we came here, Ichha, Dvesha. But after going these sufferings, once again we think that, well, it may be okay to continue in this lifestyle, so be it. But a higher intelligent person do not do that. He can make mistake once, but he will learn from that mistake. I want to go back to a place where there are no these problems. So that is Supreme Lord's abode. So here also in this series of shlokas, it is clearly establishing that we should be worshipping that Supreme Lord. Who is that Supreme Lord? He is Lord Krishna. And also here Prabhupada in the purport, he beautifully classifies all these categories. So in sum up, the Supreme Lord and his plenary expansions, which are nothing but Vishnu Tattvas. And then the other two are Devatas, demigods, and then the Jivas. Even demigods are also part of the Jiva. So the demigods, the worship of demigods is very predominant in the society. One is lack of proper understanding, and the second is they are mostly want these temporary benefits, not the eternal going back to the Lord. And also it talks about and another important point Srila Prabhupada makes, even Brahma, Shiva, Surya, all of them are not part of the Vishnu Tattva, they are also demigods. When you say these things to outsiders, they will be bewildered. Because lack of shastric understanding. So this is the reason we have to hear from the bona fide acharyas who are coming in disciplic succession. And also we know that often we will have some doubts, right? So there is always a 3-point rule in the Shastra. So what is the, whenever you get a doubt, what is the 3-point rule? Guru, Shastra, Sadhana. Even after going progressing so many times, so much into the spirituality, we always get these confusions. But anything, if we get doubt, these are the 3 checkpoints. Suppose you get Shastra, there is Shastrika, there is so much Vedic literature. Because one may take a particular reference somewhere and they can defend that one. Because in the Puranas also, we have 18 Puranas and 6 Puranas for each mode of each mode. So there are 6 Puranas for mode of ignorance, 6 for mode of passion, 6 for mode of goodness. Somebody who is referring, a person who can justify that, yes, what is wrong in it having a meat? Simplest cross example. Because in the Shastra it is recommended that you can eat. But the problem is, what is recommended, how it should be hard, that they forget, or that they don't have that knowledge. So it's not that it is in a mass slaughter machine, something manufactured and the ready-made store, if you go nicely packed. I remember, you might all know Peter Bush. So before he became devotee and even becoming a vegetarian, he was a tennis player, and then somebody approached him to become a vegetarian. And then he said, that's not for something for human beings, that's for monkeys. What is there in that? So he was not convinced. And then later, when he went one time for a slaughterhouse, that's what it changed him. He said that this mass killing, which animals are subjected to so much violence, that made him to become a vegetarian. And later he wrote a nice book also, The Total Health, where he cleared that the myths in the society the meat should have for besides tongue pleasure, it should be for protein and all that reason. He says that's all good. A vegetarian can nicely have all that. So what I am trying to say is that, but in the Shastra it is said, Mamsa means somebody has to take that, especially only goat is allowed, and that should be taken to Kalimata in midnight, and they should look into it, and just cutting short, look into its eyes, and they have to chop off, and then they have to have. If that is something that you can do, you may entitle to have it. But also, when they are performing that act, they are supposed to utter mamsa, means in this lifetime, I could not resist my tongue, and that's the reason I am killing you, and to my sense pleasure. So in the next life, I will take your body and you will take my body. So what is that the Shastra is doing? In that mode, they are educating, they are alerting that, okay, you are not able to resist your tongue pleasure, but the consequence is, this is the consequence. The idea is, at least understanding that consequence, or by awareness, they will change that. So gradually, so that is the lack of proper understanding these people may argue. But if they understand, probably nobody want to do that, right? Why would, even if you take any genius person, nobody want to become the goat in the next life, right? Because sometimes even we can find such ignorant persons. I think one time in Europe, when Prabhupada was talking philosophy, there was in one audience, he got up and he was saying that, Prabhupada, I don't mind to become animal next life. And Prabhupada said, I'm blessing you, you can have that one. So the ignorant persons are there in the world. They are so ignorant, but our acharyas are very compassionate to giving this knowledge in a way all of us, even normal people, can understand. Srila Prabhupada came to America at the age of so old age, which is unheard in the history of mankind, going abroad, having no sponsor, nothing. He just came with a book full of a suitcase full of books, nothing else. Why? And anybody who reads Srila Prabhupada's life history, the how much difficulties that he has undergone the first year, probably they will be shaken. Because just for giving this transcendental knowledge to the Western audience who doesn't have any clue about this one. And the knowledge that Srila Prabhupada has given, that's the ultimate. There can be nothing more. Because we also see there are so many gurus coming from the ancient India, the motherland India. There are so many ancient Indians are coming, gurus are coming. So one philosopher very beautifully is put. He was asked, what is the difference between Srila Prabhupada and others? And then Srila Prabhupada is the one, most of the gurus at that time, when they were coming to America, they were mostly associating with the rich people. But Srila Prabhupada is the only one who is almost, I mean not almost, he was living with in the slum areas and mostly degraded people. All the four walks that we take, in those days, the American society, Western society, full of with all those. Nobody heard about not to have all those bad habits. But Srila Prabhupada was living with them, and then he transformed them. That didn't happen before that. And look at the compassion of the Srila Prabhupada. See, what to speak of worshipping Sri Krishna, Lord Sri Krishna, and establishing him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And explaining that worshipping the Lord Krishna or Vishnu Tattva is the only way to get out of this material world. That is high philosophy. Beyond that, nothing else. But whereas Srila Prabhupada came and gradually transformed, and look at ISKCON after 50 plus years now, how widely in the society it is accepted. And not just Indians, but all over the world, there are many people who are taking advantage of this one. So, here in this, I'm glad that the clarity that I am getting after reading Srila Prabhupada's books. Very simple. Now, when we are, as one of the day service for the Srila Prabhupada is preaching. So, by reading Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, we ourselves not only shatter our misgivings, but also will be equipped for the outsiders to properly educate. And there may be a challenge, right? Why what you are saying is right. So we all know that this is not a knowledge. That's the reason the Vedic knowledge is considered. It is not man-made knowledge. It is beyond the man-made, right? So anything man-made is considered imperfect. Because constantly, if you see anything, any object in the material world, when iPhone came first, now we have whatever so many versions are coming. Why every time they fix those bugs, and ever-endingly new bugs are coming. Because creativity is going the other side also. It's not just fixing the bugs, but creativity is also introducing the bugs. So that is how the material world. But whereas Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita, never its versions we haven't seen any versions. Of course, there are misinterpretations or misguided versions are there. But as such, Bhagavad Gita shlokas never change. Because the Lord, whatever He manufactures, that is flawless. So by reading the flawless, we will become flawless. Now, at my stage of bhakti, I may not be perfect. Srila Prabhupada gives a very beautiful way. One thing I like Srila Prabhupada, how he empowers. He said one time, Prabhu, when he approached Srila Prabhupada, I am not perfect, how can I preach this perfect knowledge? And then Srila Prabhupada is such a compassionate person, and he said, no, none of us are perfect. And he gives the example of a postman. He says, to deliver the money order, the postman need not be a rich person. All he has to do, take that money order and give it to the recipient or the whomever it is addressed. So similarly, by reading the Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, we not only get clarification, purified, but also by preaching, we get that clarity. By preaching is one of the bold things. So the reason I am preaching is Srila Prabhupada in the purport very beautifully explained, and then the preaching is one thing, the dear service to Srila Prabhupada, and by which we can also benefit immensely. So to summarize, in this sloka, it says we should not be envious, and then we should be worshipping the Vishnu Tattva in order for us to get out of this birth and death cycle. And Srila Prabhupada beautifully in the purport classifies Vishnu Tattvas and the demigods and jivas. So including the demigods and jivas are in the material world. And Srila Prabhupada also makes a beautiful point here. When people are worshipping demigods, the demigods themselves are in the material world, who are subjected to annihilation in what they can do. So that is another lesson that we can gain from this shloka. So very beautifully it emphasizes the shloka that in the Bhagavad Gita, Antavattu Padam Tesham, here giving more details. And even a couple of more shlokas, it concentrates on the how one should get out of this three modes of material nature and worship only Lord Krishna. So another thing is when we understand from our Guru Parampara also that when you worship, when you nourish the roots of a plant, ultimately the entire plant is nourished. Similarly, when we worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, everything is included in that. So the Lord gives at our capacity whatever we can sustain. Or if we cannot, He gives the strength to sustain that one. So just I want to summarize that thing. Hare Krishna. If you have any comments, because today you are traveling in third class, so no questions. Hare Krishna.
Two questions. First one, I'll ask and if there's no other discussion to the second one. I was really surprised to see in the purport for verse 25, Srila Prabhupada, I mean, it's a very strong statement. It says, therefore, are directly enacted with person of God, except for the Mahajans or the authorized agents of the Lord, no one knows the purpose of religion. That really struck me. I was wondering, so that means whatever little understanding we have is the purpose of what we are doing. Is Prabhupada saying we have no clue what is the purpose of religion except for the Mahajans? As any realizations or any sharing in that aspect.
So, any interest of that? This is a very good, beautiful point Prabhu brought up, Mahajans. So, Mahajans, they are beyond the three modes of material nature. So, every day and every moment, they are in the conscious of Krishna conscious. And whereas a person like me, let's say, I'm struggling. In a day, I may swing into different modes. So a person who is in the material realm cannot have that absolute understanding. Even once in a while, if I hear, but ultimately the next moment, subject to these material conditions, I may forget. But whereas Mahayans, for them, they are beyond these three modes. So they are always in the absorption of the Supreme Lord. So for them, only it is all the moment are always they know what is the absolute truth. But whereas people are subject in the three modes, they cannot. So that is even Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says that, Satatam Smarana. We are struggling for 16 rounds to our initiative. And what to speak of? Satatam Smarana. So, but whereas Mahajans, they are always in that absorption. They are truly living the Satatam Smarana. And therefore, I understand that a person who is completely absorbed all the time, irrespective of conditions, only such persons can truly understand the Supreme. And also, it says right in the Bhagavad Gita, whatever Anta Kalisha. See, at the end of the life, whatever be that conscious, that is what they gain in the next life. So for Mahajans, they are always in that mode. So for them, there is no special class that at the end of the life they have to. But whereas for us, yes, Baba, this is what you have to. So that means you need to practice, become more and more conscious of every moment. So therefore, that is my understanding that Mahajanas are purely others absorbing that makes them to know the Lord very well beyond anybody. So, if any comments, you can.
One question. So you said, Guruji, that they are, that's fine. But the demigods are, they are subject to old age, death, old age, Janma, Jara, Vara. So they might also die.
They
They might be dying.
Yeah.
And we don't have that information. So the people are worshiping demigods like some few thousand years. And if you don't know in 1,000 years, the demigod and worshipping him might have died, he no longer exists. Still worshipping the demigod, that worship is useless.
Okay. Yeah, demigods, most of the demigods, like, they are positions, right? So let's say Brahmaji, it's also position. So to your question, whoever is there worshipping, maybe the other person may give that benediction. But the truth is, our lifetime, when we compare their lifetime, they are much more longer living. So, a person who is worshipping demigod, you are right, they don't have that understanding, lack of that understanding, they are worshipping. And but Srila Prabhupada is not just even talking about it, he's not even talking about that, he's just talking, what is the purpose of life? Why you worship anybody? And these are not going to give you eternal solution. You should hanker for getting out of this material world. So, Srila Prabhupada is not talking about even whether to worship or not. He is saying what you should do is go back to the Godhead, and that is only possible by worshipping Lord Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. I think Prabhu. Any more comments?
One more question.
Oh, Prabhu, is it okay?
Yeah, it's one more question.
Oh, you. Sorry.
So, Prabhuji, regarding that mass meat eating, you said like if you have to eat, we should, according to Shastra, we have to, cut the animal on a particular day and say some mantra. But that is also sin.
Sin, yeah.
And not eating according to Shastra, that is also sin. Like going to shopping mall and buying meat.
Right.
So what is the benefit of eating according to Shastra?
Oh, okay. So, a person who is going grocery store and eating purely out of ignorance, he is doing, But it doesn't mean that having no knowledge means you are not going to incur sin. First of all, they are doing sin, no problem, no doubt about that. Another thing is, what is the why Shastra is saying, right? So what we are saying is, Shastra also accommodation for people who want to eat the meat, but how it should be done. So it should be only goat, and they should go this process, take the animal in the midnight, Kali Mata's temple, which will be out generally outside of the cities, and you should perform that act. And the mantra says that the gist of the mantra is when you are, I am not able to control my tongue pleasure, so I am cutting you or killing you to please my tongue. So next life we are exchanging our bodies. So when you hear that, any common sense person will not do that act. Right? So the Shastra is giving that sloka or mantra to evoke that realization in the person. 99% of the people who knows that, probably they don't do that. And 1%, the people who does, they go to the sin. There is no exception. See, these three Puranas, like mode of ignorance, next is mode of passion, and mode of goodness. So gradually, a person in the ignorance should go to the mode of goodness. And mode of goodness is the one can augment our spiritual progress. And even Shastra says, the Lord says, even mode of goodness is not ultimate. Most of the people, pious people understand that mode of goodness is ultimate. If you do good, you get good. But Shastra is not saying no, you go beyond the mode of goodness. So, to your answer, yes, Shastra is saying that you do this way. But the understanding is that that person's common sense will be evoked. 99% of the persons, if you go and tell in a grocery store, people who truly hear and truly believe that, understand that, they will stop eating. So Shastra
the
is
consequence for both the person is same. Who is eating according to Shastra or is not following Shastra, he is going to suffer the same way.
I think so.
Yeah.
Right?
The exception is, for example, if you buy liquor illegally versus you buy it legally, you are subject to more punishment if you buy illegally versus legally. Do you still have effect on your liver? Yes.
Yeah, but practically that is bad. If government is legalizing it.
No, that is an exemption that the government is giving, because if I take liquor away completely, these people will be bewildered. So the consequences are higher when you do it beyond Shastra, non-Shastric way versus within Shastra. Sorry.
No, yeah, that's Prabhu said they are good. But ultimately, see, like in some states, marijuana is legalized for medical reasons, certain quantity. So, yes, from a material example, but I don't think we can find an equivalent material example, because the material examples in some states is illegal, in some other states no. So, right, within the jurisdiction, whatever you do, you are protected to some extent. But the spiritual laws are, yes. So the thing is same.
Yeah.
So,
Looks like Prabhu wants to add something.
Prabhuji, please.
I am just waiting for the Yadedatani Visishta Tattva Sayat Pramanam.
So I
I
am
am the director of the Congregational Development of Naperville.
Oh Krishna, don't
That
Wow.